We all have moments of self-doubt and uncertainty. Even the most happy and confident people struggle with it as well. It's all a part about being human. Now, there are some ways that we can increase our self-esteem. And today we have Simone Alicia, self-esteem coach, here to teach us some real-world techniques to raise our self-esteem and be a happier, healthier you. Thanks so much for joining us today, Simone.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for having me, Hera.
So why don't we get started on talking about self-esteem in general? And what's the difference between, say, self-esteem and someone that's self-centered?
Okay, perfect question. So self-esteem is the way we're thinking and the way we're feeling about ourselves. This is what I love to teach to kids because we have a little bit of power in that. It's how we're thinking and how we're feeling. Self-esteem, an example would be, I can do it, I am positive, I am smart. These are positive things that we say to ourselves that keep our self-esteem high. When we get into the I can't do it, or I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, then that would be considered lower self-esteem. So the quest that we're on is to help kids to raise their self-esteem and think more of those positive thoughts about themselves. The problem is that people get scared that those positive thoughts equal arrogance. But here's the difference. When we're talking about arrogance, we're really comparing ourselves to others and often trying to be better than others. We're trying to measure ourselves. Well, it's not just that I feel strong, it's that I'm stronger than you. It's not just that I feel really good about who I am, I'm better than you. And so once we get into that competitive place, that's when arrogance comes in, because now I'm trying to beat and defeat someone else. I'm trying to shine and outshine and be better than. And that's where it really becomes that place where it's cocky and it's not fun to be around. But just affirming yourself and saying, you know what, I'm smart enough and I can do good on this test, it's wonderful. That's high self-esteem.
Okay, so with arrogance or the self-centered behaviors, that's more trying to prove something, not to help yourself or to better yourself, or it's just to prove a point and do better than, say, the person next to you. But self-esteem would be more doing it for yourself because it feels good and because it's something you want to do for you.
Absolutely, and it will help you to succeed in your own life, on your own terms, in your own way.
So we have the power overall.
Yes.
Being in school, friends play a large role, our peers, even our family. What would you say are the biggest influences towards our self-esteem?
So everything can be an influence to our self-esteem. I think the biggest factor to changing it at the end of the day is us. But we know what it's like in schools. Sometimes we've got these kids and they're making fun or they're pushing or they're just making it a little more difficult, and we're trying to find ourselves at those ages in school and who am I and what do I like? So we look out there for comparison and we start to listen to others' opinions and the judgment and what others think, and so that really plays a role. What we really want to get to the heart of is telling people, listen, you have the power. Self-esteem, as we said, is the way you think and the way we feel about who we are. So someone might introduce those thoughts to us and introduce those ideas, well, you're not this and you're not that, and they hurt. I'm not pretending here, they hurt. But at the end, it's gonna be the self-talk. What do I say to myself? What do I repeat? That's what's gonna really give me, at the end of the day, that final consensus about who I am. But we have to know that we can do that, and we have to know we have the strength to do that.
So our influences can be positive or negative.
Absolutely.
And I would think that being in school, especially when there are kids doing things that you shouldn't be doing, but to fit in, people might change their mind and do it anyways.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think that we're just at a place where our kids are a little bit lost sometimes. And I think that is because of the pattern of thinking. I think that's the influence of social media. I think that's the influence of everything going on outside of us and outside of them that they feel like they have to live up to. There's this pressure, there's this, I have to be this way and that way. And sometimes it's just the blind leading the blind. There's some kids that are not sure what's going on and they're trying to, put forth this act of self-esteem, this, I know what I'm doing, I've got this, and they don't. And then we feel the pressure to live up to that and to conform. But if we can fill ourselves up so much with a certainty of who we are. Look at those good things that you've accomplished. Look at the good things about yourselves. Really, really hold on to that so that when someone offers you something the opposite or something really negative, you just a little bit stronger to say, that's not true, and to really understand that.
So what would you say are some ways that we can build our self-esteem?
So I'm going to give you my ice cream analogy here because this is a kind of a visual way to help us understand the value that we can bring. So I tell kids, imagine that you are an ice cream cone and you, and only you, are responsible for filling yourself with ice cream. The idea is to give yourself something sweet, to fill yourself, empower yourself. I am kind, I am confident, I am strong, I am able, I can do this. Remember those things that you've accomplished and use them as that ice cream to fill yourself. And then from that perspective, we can realize our peers only can offer us the sprinkles. So it is important, it's a valuable part of life. We want our friendships and our friends' approvals, of course, but we have to realize where exactly that is in the balance, and they are the sprinkles.
So what happens if we struggle with maintaining that internally?
I love that question because I think sometimes we have this idea of perfection. Like if I'm not doing it right and then I'm just gonna give up or quit. I'm telling you, it's a lifelong journey of constant, everyday self-talk. I'm the self-esteem doctor and I still, every day, it's self-talk. It's not that you're never gonna get your feelings hurt. It's never that you're gonna not doubt yourself at any point. It's just that knowing I can get over this, I can get through this, and having the tool to say, if I practice this, I can get really good at the self-talk. I might still get angry, I might still get sad, but if I know that go-to tool, that I can actually affirm myself and I can say these things and I can fill my ice cream, there's a little power in that to know I can recover from anything that comes my way. And I think that's huge for kids to know that they can do that. So it can be hard, and that's okay. And it's not about perfection, it's about continuing. Just do it, just keep doing it. And it's like a muscle. It'll get stronger and easier and stronger and easier eventually, and it's worth it. They're worth it.
How can we ensure that we're surrounding ourselves with positive people that are gonna help build us up and keep that self-esteem going every day?
That's an important point, and I'm so happy you brought it up because sometimes we are trying so hard to fit in where maybe we don't feel like we belong or where it doesn't feel comfortable and we're searching and spinning, but the other options are to really find our area, find our thing. You know, if you're into sports, you know, look into joining a sports team, dance, art, drama, anything like that. Like look into the things that actually interest you, where your self-esteem is naturally going to be a little bit higher because you feel good in those areas. And then surround yourself with the people who are like-minded, which means they think like you do and they have similar interests. And in those circles, it will help to also build your self-esteem because the discipline of being in a particular sport, or the authenticity of being yourself, who you really are, or the fun of doing something that you really love to do with other kids who really love to do that thing, are huge self-esteem boosters also. So you just gotta be careful with thinking, I've gotta fit over there because they fit over there, and get a little more comfortable with, this is what I kinda like, and I'm gonna find those people who like that too.
Simone, what about the kids and teens that are struggling with saying something nice or positive about themselves and needing someone else to maybe encourage them or to help give them that support when they don't feel like they fit in?
At that point, I have to say that we've gotten really accustomed to the idea of just not feeling so good. I think sometimes we get so accustomed to that sensation of just feeling a little less than, and we almost get used to it and get comfortable with, this is how it is, and I don't know that it's ever gonna change. I really wanna encourage those kids to identify those moments where they do want more. There's always a little moment in there where they just, you know, I wish it was different, or I really don't like this. And I want them to become a little bit more aware of where they are, and from that point, to go ahead and seek help. Help meaning tell someone how you're feeling. You don't have to know the entire road you're gonna travel. Just start by saying, I'm not feeling good. Something is off. You don't even need to worry about having the perfect words to identify it. You don't need to have a diagnosis or a label or some fancy way of presenting it. Just talk to a trusted adult, a parent, a teacher, someone in a position of assisting you and someone who cares about you, and say, you know what, something is a little off. I just don't feel as good. I find that I'm a little bit sad, maybe more than I should be. I don't even know the words to tell you something's wrong, and I would love if you can help me. And just open that door and see where it takes you, because from there's already relief because you've gotten someone, an ally, to be there with you. And then from there you can figure it out. And as low and as low and low as you feel like you are, there's always a little light there. And you might not know exactly how to get to the light and how to follow it and who's gonna help you, but just take the first step and say, you know what, I know I can feel better than this somehow, someday, some way, and talk to someone.
So it gives you a sense of hope and maybe even a sense of direction.
Yes, definitely, and not being alone, you know, and that's a nice start also.
Is there any particular message that you would like to give to the kids and teens?
I do. I would say don't minimize the power of yourself, your mind, your thoughts, your beliefs, right? Because we've come to a point where we start to think that the solution is only outside of us, that it's only when this kid plays with me and then things will be better. It's only when I get into that group that things will be better. But that's a product of you first caring about you. And so when the time is right, as you're growing through this, at first it might be difficult, but as you grow through this, practice thinking good things, practice bringing up the good memories of things that you've done or you've succeeded at. I don't care if it was when you were in kindergarten or, but just practice, be committed to practicing, because you can turn this around. You can turn this around. It's not up to the people outside of you, but you do have support, people that are willing to help, and you do have this thing right here that will help you also. So you can do it, stay encouraged, and no matter how low it feels, there is still a little light and there is someone willing to help you.
Self-esteem is the way in which we view and think about ourselves. If you find yourself constantly thinking negative thoughts about yourself, it is important to reach out and get the help that you need. Speak up.